You know, I've looked it up a couple times. It's kind of weird that I'm only now seeing it. This thing called ovulation. Let me just make sure that's how that's said. It's a weird word.
Avolition.
Avolition. There's a word called avolition, and what it means is lack of drive, lack of motivation, and it also causes apathy, and it's common with autistic people like myself. I do not have drive innately, believe it or not. I've always just done my best at a task, and when I fail, I fail. I don't do the Blondie thing where I start cheating, poisoning people with heavy metals, lying, manipulating, and destroying as much as I can just because I lost. I just kind of, okay, I lost. Uh, Unlike Blondie, I don't derive self-worth from how much of a piece of shit I can be all at once. But this is anybody at their church. But I wanted to read over some of these things. Avolition is a psychological term meaning lack of motivation or ability to start follow through with goals or directed activities. It is considered a negative symptom of many mental health conditions, uh, causing individuals to neglect their daily tasks such as hygiene, work, social activities. This can also result in an inability to start finish tasks even when the person might want to. That's me. Lack of motivation, general loss of interest, desire, or goals. I set goals all the time, and I either hit them or don't. I don't really feel either way, even like if I win. So there's that. Difficulty with goal-oriented behavior, an inability to initiate a complete purposeful action such as getting a job or even taking a shower. Uh, I have to remind myself to take showers. Inactivity, a tendency to avoid social and physical activities and tend to spend long periods of time in a state in inactivity, zoning out. I have literally been meditating down here for probably 6 or 7 hours a day. Apathy, often used interchangeable with avision. It refers to a feeling of being drained or energy and interest. Negative symptoms. Avision is one of the set of several negative symptoms of conditions like schizophrenia, which also include active flattening, whatever that is, reduced emotional expression, and oligolia, poverty of speech. I don't know what the fuck that is either. Avilion is more of a just is more than just laziness or actionable procrastination. It is a persistent and deliberate symptom that can significantly impact a person's life. It is not the same as the legal term evasion, which refers to sudden removal of land or water or structure. My point about this is whatever aviliation is, it's what I have. Um, and I've been like this since forever. And like I said, when I was trying to figure out how to file pro se, I was like really driven somewhere in there. I don't know what got me driven to waste all of my money trying to go down to the Broward Clerk of Court's office, only for the lady in there to explain to me that that's not a normal pro se document. You would have to file that federally, and then you'd have to do this. And then I was like, yes. How do I do all that? And then she was like, oh, there isn't anybody alive that'll show you how to do that, and you can't just learn how to do that. That would have to be a specific court. You would have to find somebody to assist you. And I was like, yeah, that's the problem. I'm not allowed to have that. And then she was like, well, whatever legal document that did that to you is totally illegal. And I was like, yeah, that doesn't stop these people. And then she was like, is there something else going on here? And I was like, yeah, there's a lot of other things going on here. Uh, I've always wondered that about myself because even in when I'm competing with people, I take it like a joke, and even when I do anything, I take it like a joke. And it kind of makes sense because of the vision shit here. And one of these things go on to talk about is you might need like electroshock therapy to stimulate the driven part of the brain. This is the thing I wanted to briefly talk about in this video. So I don't have the Friedrich Nietzsche drive to murder, rape, kill, destroy, and just destroy it, ruin everybody's life around me, and then scream I'm the victim in it. Because I don't have that superior psychology. But I did report the entire church, even without drive, and get it destroyed, which is absolute greatness, which proves to you people who are not that psychology can be great. So you don't actually have to be a Friedrich Nietzsche Ubermensch retard that drinks heavy metals and has sex with babies and rapes everything and then screams you're the victim in it. And then mindlessly follows the rules of some church that just disadvantages everybody so you can cheat at everything. Because you're an inherent loser. Okay? Once again, yeah. That's just what I wanted to say. I don't know how you overpower Avolition. I don't know, once again, this is a deeper fucking psychological thing, but it does make sense because George Miller went on a thing about how I was so apathetic. Look, I have always been either you win or you lose. I've never been the type to throw tantrums over either one. Okay. In fact, the most worked up I've ever been is when my brain was destroyed on heavy metals by these retards at this church. And I was screaming in all those videos about Mary Bowberry, which I realize now was completely fucking rigged with Blondie, which makes sense because he's a malignant narcissist. He cares about his trophies. He doesn't care about justice. He doesn't care about doing the right thing. He doesn't care about any of those things, okay? Neither does anybody in this church, because if anybody did, they would just represent me, but they're not gonna, because they don't have values or morals of any type. But they will virtue signal and tell you, you do it. You do it. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. But once again, if it was the other way around, there would be a serious fucking problem. Yeah. See, I'm glad I learned this about myself, because there is something about knowing you have a defect that actually causes this issue. And learning you have the defect is learning how to treat that defect. And the only treatment for this is expensive antipsychotic medicines and electro treatment, apparently, and some type of CBT therapist shit. But that's like a couple $1,000s at least. So the likelihood of me getting any of those things to get this done is 0. One of the things that came up when I was looking at this ovulation thing, ovulation thing, whatever the fuck it is I remembered this teacher being like, "What if I forced you to lead?" And I was like, I would just let everybody die, and then I would turn and stare at you and go, "Why did you let this happen?" And I remembered this, no, and I was like, yes, because I'm apathetic as fuck. Okay. I'm apathetic as fuck. Okay. And according to this, it's some type of condition. Alright. This is why, once again, you shouldn't just ignore the mental health of other people and then scream, "You're superior," or "You have to do this," or "You have to figure out that," because they just might not be that capable of doing any of those things. You know what I should wish for is this church just goes around abusing autistic people. I think that would be really great. I think like they should just go around just beating the shit out of autistic people and then explaining to everybody that the autistic person is lazy and stupid and that's what's wrong with them. And that should just be a part of their religion, because it would really drive home how shitty these people are. But I'm also on the fence of having them just have the wishing for the super cheater award, where these people blatantly cheat instead of surreptitiously cheat, like poisoning you with heavy metals. They just like, you're playing a board game and then they just take their piece and run it over to the finish line as many times as they can. or you're like playing cards with them and they have like a cartoonish amount of extra cards in their hand, which is obvious, they're obviously cheating. Or like if they're a speedrunner, like they have to edit their videos to make it look like they did everything and just cheat. You know, keep them fighting one hand behind their back. Why follow the rules at all? You're going to cheat at everything anyways. And then just do that, because I'm pretty sure if you did that societally, a lot of people would just get so annoyed with dealing with these people, and they would go, well, it's part of our rules, so I have to cheat, so we can't play any normal games ever. Like, and I mean, like, if they're playing Mario Kart with their friends, they pull controllers out, they eye gouge, and they beat and assault one another, and they act out violently because they want to win, and the only way they know how to win is to cheat. So, like, I think that would be a great wish, to just make sure that people just really don't like these people ever again and don't want to invite them over to play games or hang out with them in any form, because in everything under the threat of death, they would have to blatantly cheat. I think that would be pretty funny. Yeah. As I said to Kevin, being one of you is the most disgusting thing I can ever be. Yeah. Well, I contacted a lawyer, and hopefully they do something. I doubt it, because nobody cares. And you might go, Bobby, you care, I care, but I don't have any power. So there's that. Am I leaving anything out here? No. See, been learning stuff about myself. This is all good things. It's all good things. I have always wondered why I seemingly lack drive as a person, because I either do or don't. Like, that's just how I do. Like, I don't, I don't do the in-between stuff. I've often thought about doing cocaine, but I've never done cocaine, and I don't think, cocaine is apparently will get you driven, so, but I don't do cocaine, and I don't think getting high on cocaine and then trying to go to court is a very good idea. I mean, Blondie will probably do it. He'll probably be like, I love doing cocaine, it's the only reason. And that's like the other side of this church, as they're not actually driven. They pop LSD and do cocaine, and I just didn't know that when I was president. That would be funny as shit. Yeah. The more you know.